Jambo ma Africa, blessed Friday to you. Asante kwa kutazama King Said So. Now on this channel, in the past, I have criticized Bheki Mtolo for his political style, his character, his arrogance, and I have criticized him and said this man is not fit to be the Secretary General for KwaZulu-Natal, and KwaZulu-Natal will fall under his watch. And I was right. But this time around, Bheki Mtolo has surprised me. He's saying the right things that the ANC nationally should be saying. He's saying, listen, we are looking at the results of the 2024 elections and we must blame ourselves and take accountability for losing our province. You know, those words are the beginning of the change in the ANC. Now, many events have built up to the ANC losing power in KwaZulu-Natal, but most importantly, it falls on the leaders provincially and also trickling down to the branches and the wards. Now, I want to speak about him and what he said to the KwaZulu-Natal cadres. Another thing I want to speak about is Sihle Lonzi, the youngest, if I'm correct, EFF MP. He made his speech in Parliament. What a powerful speech the young man made. I was very impressed with how he carried himself in Parliament. It's not easy there in Parliament. Ask those MPs from the Patriotic Alliance who were recalled because it is too hot in Parliament. And now we see the EFF has brought quality in Parliament. I also want to speak about Matabo Mokwena from the MK political party. Another powerful speech made from the MK political party directed to the president of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa. I want to speak about why I'm so impressed on what she said about the social grants. And also in Tshwane, I'm very surprised that people are trying to steal transformers at night, just going in night, trying to steal transformers just like that, to sabotage the Action SA Mayor Nasiphi Moya. Seriously. Lastly, I'm going to speak about Dr. John Hlophe, who was impeached, ladies and gentlemen, just 2 months before reaching the retirement age of 65 years. Imagine. And that trend that the ANC and the DA did with Busisiwe Mkhobane impeaching her just 1 month before she finishes her term, and impeaching Dr. Hlophe 2 months before reaching retirement for 65 years. But they didn't know they were pushing him into politics. Let's talk about that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Sinchiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. Listen, before I start on the video today, a friend of mine recommended a book. I love reading, guys. I love reading. I don't talk much about the books I read, but this one, let me just also bring it to your light. It's a book of Robert Greene. The title of the book is The 48 Laws of Power. Now, very interesting that the first chapter says, never outshine your master. You know, us doing political analyst, this book speaks a lot to what is happening in the political space, especially in the political parties. Never outshine the master. Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, don't outsing the CIC. There in the ANC, when Apanyaza Nasiphi, don't outshine the president. You know, well, Kenny Kunene can't outshine Gayton Mackenzie. But you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But so that book, we'll discuss it once I read it in length. I was just wanting to bring it to your attention. Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in KwaZulu-Natal, the Provincial Executive Council is having a reflection on what actually happened, transpired, as if they don't know, is the MK, for them to lose power, you know. But what I like about what Bheki Mtolo said, he said each and every one of the wards must take responsibility and accountability for losing the ward where they are in. He made an example about Ukwaduguza, saying there's a ward there, Ward 21. Those people won their ward. Why is it that they could win their ward, but Nina, the rest of you are suffering? He said the ANC from the top structures, Fikile Mbalula, Cyril Ramaphosa must take responsibility for losing or dropping to 40%, and everyone else in the provinces must follow suit, because him himself and Duma are going to do it. Let's listen to what Bheki Mtolo, the Secretary General of KwaZulu-Natal, said.
In the 11th district, ibona abalidayo la. Unobhala kaDukuza funa thatha responsibility ne-SRC yakhe okuluza ama-elections kwaDukuza. Wena-ke branch, wena Thubelihle wase-Ward 10, thatha responsibility okuluza e-Ward 10. Ngoba to prove ukuthi lento engisho i-correct, akasukume kusukuma comrade ase-Ward 20, sukume ngenyawo, Ward 20 kwaDukuza. Yabona comrade, i-ANC comrade national ithole 40%. National. Meaning NEC lost the country for 40%. In National Executive Committee, Elito Babu Ramaphosa, Babu Mbalula, lost the country for 40%. They must take that responsibility. Today we are taking our own responsibility, Slotuma, of losing the province to 17%. But to prove the comrade here in his ward has won. Now when uma ubhizi ugxeka uRamaphosa, ugxeka uMbalula, zibuza uba kanti lento ebenziwa uRamaphosa noMbalula yini bengayenzanga eWard 20? Why they didn't do it in Ward 20? The comrade in Ward 20, skala sonke akakhala uthi mina in Ward 20. Ward 21. The Ward 21, there was no shedding. Uthi in Ward 21 there's unemployment. Uthi welcome party mina have war. Amanda, okwethuke comrade. Okwethuke comrade ukuthi sisondele kuyena ukuthi wenze ngani. eThekwini committee kunevidi ebizwa ngokuthi ukwashembe. eThekwini committee siphuphile eThekwini. Yabona eThekwini ungathi beshawa isipokwe. Singasibonga.
Unfortunately for me, I speak to many party leaders, especially ANC, but they don't want to speak to me on camera because most of them are not happy with how the ANC is behaving. Now, this, what Bheki Mtolo is saying, is very important. The ANC needs to understand what is going on here. I want to explain something to them. This taking responsibility, Bheki Mtolo, Cyril Ramaphosa, and all the other provinces where the ANC has lost power, Northern Cape and all of that, did not get 51% plus. Taking responsibility on what happened means stepping aside. That is why you don't hear the leaders talking about taking responsibility. Because why is it that the ANC must keep a president who has dropped them below 50% for the first time ever since 1994? What nonsense is that? Why are you rewarding bad performance, the ANC? You see that in many departments. You see it in reshuffling MECs. They just move for this MEC for not performing here, move them from social development to transport, they move them from transport to agriculture to education. They don't have consequence management. They don't want people to pay for not performing. Why? Because of this leadership spirit that they have. Now, that leadership spirit has landed the ANC where it is now. Especially in KwaZulu-Natal, there is no coming back. There is no coming back. Because white monopoly capitalist is going to pump more money into that sellout party, the IFP. Is there IFP people that are watching my channel? Go on the comment section and tell me 2 reasons why you're voting IFP. Yet deliver IFP in KwaZulu-Natal. I wonder. But anyway, that one I can believe is a tribal thing, loyal to the history of the IFP. And if you go back and see what happened in the 80s there in KwaZulu-Natal, how people were unalived, unnecessary for nothing, where the ANC and the IFP were fighting. It was bad. I actually made a documentary about it some time ago. I think it was during the elections campaigning, but they took it off because the amount of violence that was on that documentary, it changed how I look at the IFP forever. Anyway, before I lose my train of thought, the ANC does not punish bad performance. You understand? When I had the CIC, now I'm losing the train of thought again. When I had the CIC said a branch that did not get 10% can't come to the NPA, the National People's Assembly. I'm like, but nationally you did not get 10%. He said 10 years, 10%, but they did not get 10% nationally. You understand? Why is it that the punishment can't start from the top? They don't want to lose power. Cyril Ramaphosa and that Phala Phala FM Mbalula, they took the ANC, guys, not just below 50%, they took it to 40%. From 57%. How can you keep such a person? Even in KwaZulu-Natal, they went from 50 something percent to 17%. They are the province with the biggest drop. Why do you keep those leaders? You know, and we have heard Fikile Mbalula speaking about reshuffling, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. I'm like, start with yourself, my brother. Start with yourself. It's because of you. The lack of oversight, the lack of inspection, the lack of introspection, the lack of everything that the national people have, miscalculating each and every move, underestimating the EFF, underestimating the MK political party, being arrogant, throwing t-shirts at people, not respecting the voters, not changing anything. Load shedding was bad, unemployment is there, crime was there. I see Bheki now is an ordinary person. Welcome to life, Bheki. Welcome to ordinary life. But anyways, tell me what you think about what I'm saying. If the ANC wants to fix the ANC has to remove the leaders that underperformed, and the ANC is not willing to do that. Imagine you have dropped from 50 something percent, I think they were 55% or something like that in KwaZulu-Natal, to 17%, and you keep those leaders. What do you think the branches are thinking? What do you think the ward councillors are thinking about those leaders? If that leader in KwaDuguza could win his ward, what type of respect does he have for Abu Duma Nabo Kele? Because Abu Mtolo, you must award and reward this person who has managed to win his word. He did something right. Take him up. They don't want to do that. So anyway, that is it. Let's talk about Mtolo, Sihle Lonzi, the new EFF, the new son in EFF MP, who's there, I think, for 2 weeks now, if not 3, and already taking the podium and firing away.
House Chair, the BRRR on higher education is marred with financial irregularities, incorrect procurement practices, fruitful and fruitless expenditure and billions of money that just go missing and cannot be accounted for. Our first problem is that this department obtained an unqualified audit opinion and, according to the Auditor General, has never received a clean audit since it was established. A department with an appropriation of over 130 billion cannot account for how it spends the money of the people of South Africa. We must inform the people of South Africa that the AG doesn't know how many students the National Student Financial Aid Scheme funds. Why? You don't provide any evidence for that. But we are not surprised because the SIU told us you are funding ghost students. Ninikis Boho, Imali Zabafundi, while students sleep in lecture theaters, whilst they sleep in labs. Why? Whilst real students are working hard, the SETAs, the National Skills Funds, are top of irregular expenditure. We are told thousands of youth are trained and are funded every year, but you cannot account for how many of them are funded by your department, by this government, funding spooks. This government must just be called the government of corrupt unity, not the government of national unity. What about the community education and training colleges, which are supposed to capacitate youth in our township and our rural areas? They are there at home, they are depressed, they are without work, they are without education, they are without training. They are nowhere to be found. You say to us there's a 3 billion rand budget that is dedicated to community education and training centers, but you spend 92% of the budget on paying employees. How can you spend more than 90% of the budget paying salaries? What are you paying them for? Why? You are paying spooks because you are a government of criminal unity. You told us that in 1994 you are going to open the doors of learning, but instead you just opened the doors and the looting gates in South Africa. We reject this report. We reject the government of corrupt unity. You must hang your heads in shame
your time
for
has
stealing
now
from the future of
expired.
South Africa. Thank you.
The IFP, Honourable Member.
NSFAS is a great program and a great initiative by our government, and it's helping a lot of students. The problem with NSFAS, it's mismanaged. I mean, how can when you audit the Department of Higher Education, they can't tell you exactly, precisely, to the number, to the dot, to the zero, to the percentage, how many students they are funding, because of this thing of ghost students, people that are just putting their ID numbers and bank cards. People are stealing money just like that. Students are getting money just like that. Who knows what's going to happen? Because we know about the cases that come out. No, that student got 1 million. We know about the cases that come out. There's many other cases that me and you don't know anything about. Now, seeing Sihle going into parliament with that much fire, because obviously he qualifies to speak about this matter, as he is the student who is affected directly with these issues, and is working with the youth command of the EFF as the president of the youth command. I mean, there is no one better to speak for on that matter than him there in the EFF, and I'm so happy to see him, finding his steps in parliament, or finding his footing rather in parliament, because it's not easy. The pathetic alliance, the patriotic alliance, brought in children there in parliament, and we never heard their voice. In fact, you guys probably have never heard any patriotic alliance member of parliament speak. They don't even post them as proud like the other political parties are posting their members of parliament, because they are reading word for word. Fadi loblies dideng mudnexeni mudnex op baset sê net wat is geskryf op die papier. That's who handle the situation. That's what they are doing. They don't do anything. Now you have the EFF, that is, quality. Utambo was also there in parliament. The speeches that they are doing, it's quality. You learn something. Maybe I should do a program, maybe once a week or twice a week, where I drop footages from parliament, and we speak about what type of quality we have in terms of parliamentarians in South Africa, and criticize those that must be criticized, and praise that those that must be praised. Talking about praise, Matabo Mokwena from the MK political party is another parliamentarian that you might not know, that I would just want to bring light to, because I think she also, as a woman, is brave. Listen to this.
Honorable Chairperson, Mr. President, members of the House, fellow South Africans. Mr. President, people are no longer falling for your well-crafted speeches that promise the world yet deliver nothing. While you stand here speaking of dedicating efforts to reduce poverty and tackle high cost of living, people are not doing well out there. To reduce poverty and tackle this, you need to do much more. Mr. President, your administration has presided over a period of unprecedented economic stagnation, institutional decay, and rising despair. Today, more than 30.9% of South Africans are unemployed, a human tragedy affecting millions of households. Youth unemployment stands at a staggering 59.6%, leaving an entire generation without hope or opportunity. Poverty rates have scored with over 18.2 million, have soared so much that South Africans are now relying on social grants to survive. Families cannot afford basic necessities. Parents are skipping meals so that their children can eat, and communities are being crushed under the unbearable weight of economic hardship. Mr. President, the social relief grant was a great idea, but may I ask if your beloved pets at home could survive with just 370 rands a month, the amount your government deems sufficient for an adult to live in this country? And let us not forget that the same administration deems 1,417 per month as the poverty line, yet you expect people to live on a fraction of this. The stark disconnection between your administration and the realities faced by ordinary people is shocking and unacceptable. How can you speak of progress while millions are forced to make impossible choices, scratching your SASSA grants further than they could ever go, being forced to make impossible choices every day, choosing between keeping the lights on or commuting to work? Despite these grim realities, your administration claims progress. Let us example some facts. The GDP growth rate is stagnant at 0.6% for 2024, well below the sub-Saharan average of 3.4%. Inflation continues to hover at 6.3%, driven by the relentless rise of food and energy prices. The price of loaf of bread is now 20 rand, President, and petrol costs exceed 25 rand per litre in some regions. Eskom failures have slashed over 500 billion from the economy's annual due to load shedding, now rebranded, by the way, as load reduction. South Africa enjoyed 207 days of load shedding in 2023 alone, costing thousands of jobs and devastating businesses. Transnet, on the other hand, which is vital for our economy, has become a bottleneck, with rail volumes plummeting by 21% in 2023. So even the most basic infrastructure has been left to crumble. Roads riddled with potholes, failing water system, inadequate healthcare facilities are daily reminders of the government's neglect.
Now, Ms. Mokwena is quite correct. South Africans are no longer falling for these nice speeches that the president makes. You know, our president is so calm. Our president is just such a chilled guy. I mean, if he was not a politician, I would like Cyril Ramaphosa. He's got a calm, chilled, you know, South Africans. Everything's gonna be right. We are planning this program, and we're going to inject 10 billion in this, do that and do that. Hallelujah, let's go. That's our president, you know. But we are no longer falling for that nonsense anymore. You know, it's been 30 years in the ANC, fooling us, playing with us. You know, and I'm one of those people, because of my Pan-African spirit, who will always say the ANC has done much, but the ANC could have done better. You know, they just the missteps that they have were unnecessary. because of them not wanting to punish corruption at the right time, So it built up to a point where they called it state capture, but it was not state capture. It's just people not wanting to do their work because of, favors and all of those things. It was bad. Now, Matabo asked a very brilliant question there. Mrs. Matabo, excuse me. Would your dog, your pet at home survive with 350 per month? And I think it's 370 now. Yeah, it went up 370. And when I was looking at the stats and the numbers as to how many people are getting this 370, I could not get a clear number. Last time I checked, it was 12 million, but I'm getting another number that says South Africans, I think like 28 million depend on social grants. I'm like, oh my goodness, what madness is this? What madness is this? So many people on social grants, and SASSA paying about 250 billion per year. So, no man, I don't understand, man. The country has got 250 billion to take care of its elderly citizens, the social grants, all of these baby mothers and all of these things that they are paying. We have 250 billion for that. Billion. So you are telling me we can take 1 billion almost each and every day and build factories so that those factories can generate more money so that we can take care of our grannies and then employ the youth. That we can fix all our street problems. That we can fix all of this NSFAS. No child will be left out. We've got 250 billion for social grants. I know Buffett. I know Zabuya Buffett. Zabuya, tell me. I say that money can be used better. I say that money can be 250 billion. You can take 4 billion and open a mine. 4 billion, open a mine, buy equipment, buy everything that you need, employ people, and take out the minerals in the beautiful pregnant land that we have. 250 billion. Imagine how much that mine is going to make each month. Each month. Imagine what it's going to do for the surrounding town if it's owned by the state. Hi, and you guys, manje, you're trying to sabotage the mayor of Action SA by stealing transformers in Tshwane. Man.
Yes. Residents of Tshwane, we are in Claudia's substation in Lodia. Earlier on this afternoon, we got a tip-off that there are big trucks, as you can see behind me, with cranes that came into the substation. They started, stripping the transformers, started loading the transformers on the trucks. So the community was the first on the scene, and they alerted the local councillors, and we coordinated. Fortunately, TMPD got here on time, and were able to detain all these trucks, and were able to arrest 10 people. One of those people is the official of the city from the Energy and Electricity Department, a trusted electrician, as I'm told by his managers. Now, what we are dealing with here is not a small crime. The person who sent these people here, who hired this equipment to the value of over 500,000 rand, is someone from Middleburg. Here, part of the people that have been detained here are people from the city of Joburg. So it tells you that this is a very coordinated syndicate, and these are not small boys. But we are lucky that the law enforcers got here on time. So what is going to happen now is that obviously we have handed over the site to the South African Police Service, who is going to take all the 10 people that are arrested and take all of this, the trucks and the equipment back there. It's quite unfortunate, the residents of Tshwane, that whenever you experience outages and we look at theft and vandalism of our infrastructure, it's none other than our officials in the city of Tshwane who let us down, who opens us up to the criminals. But we are saying, as the city of Tshwane, it can never be business as usual. We can never allow this to happen. Whenever they hit, we will respond. But obviously we'll be more proactive, because we can't keep running after criminals like this. But for now, we are just happy that the community worked very well with the government and the law enforcers were able to get here on time. And we're going to update you in terms of what is happening from here. Thank you so much.
Now, I'm so happy for Nasiphi, Moya, for the community around there in Tshwane, for, being alert and stopping this thing. You can just imagine, guys, people hiring trucks to go and steal transformers. And then what do you find? Typically, like any black community, like any black organization, you find that there's one of us who's working with the enemy. Always. Oh my God. I don't know what am I going to do the day I find out someone in Paseta is working with the enemy. Yo, eh? Yeah, no. Ziyakhala bafethu. You have a job. They come with a bag there that has got a lot of money. And you put the future of your children, your family, your future as an electrician, and you want to support thieves to steal. And it's funny now they are not naming these people from Mitre. The problem with our South African police is that they are so soft. If we follow this crime, you might find that these same guys will be released before Christmas. 2,000 rand bail, no, go away. Just, don't do that again. Don't do that. That's how our police act. Those transformers, how much do they cost? If they stole those transformers, what was going to be the impact on the resident, on Action SA as they have the mayor, on this new coalition of Action SA, EFF and ANC? What was going to be the impact? What was the DA going to say? Is the DA behind this? Who knows? But you can just you can connect the dots if you are wise. If you are wise, you can connect the dots. You know what is happening, my African people. You know what is happening. You know exactly which organization is doing this to Tshwane. But anyway, without any conclusive prima facie evidence, we're not going to say anything. Dr. John Hlophe, I'm so, man, the way God works, man. You want to retire, and the next thing you get impeached, and then there's another route that God opens for you to travel. Wow, what a story! John Hlophe and Busiwe Mkhobane. Their story must be written in history books. It must be written in history books.
And you are now a politician, fully fledged, leading the country's official opposition party in Parliament. Talk us through how that happened, because I'm genuinely curious in how you were convinced to go the political route and the decision you took to go to Parliament.
I've always been interested in politics, to be frank with you. This is not a new terrain for me. Perhaps unlike Advocate Mpofu, who has been openly a politician. Yeah. But I was not politically naive. I've always been, you will have seen my small contribution here in politics.
Absolutely.
So I knew...
anecdote in Cambridge where you had a political poster on your...
That's right. So I knew that one day I would join politics one way or the other, but I would have preferred to stay until the 28th of May, because I was going to retire on the 28th of May in any event. So I was dismissed from office 2 months before reaching the age of retirement.
Wow,
right?
I didn't realize
Yes.
Yeah.
I turned 65 in May.
Right.
I qualified. My birthday is on the 19th of May, so I was going to retire the very next day. Now, when President Zuma invited me to join the MK party, it came to me as no surprise, because if you, what had happened prior to that, there were discussions. I knew President Zuma was going to form a MK party because I'm reasonably close to President Zuma. I'm not going to hide that. I knew he was going to form the MK party. I also knew he was not happy with the Ramaphosa ANC. So when he asked me to join the MK party and lead the party in parliament, I gladly accepted the offer, because I'm sure he did that because he could not himself go and lead the party because the judiciary has ruled against that. But also for me, I felt that he was showing confidence. He has confidence in me. So when he asked me to join the party, to lead the party, I did not hesitate. I was already a member of the party, right? Because at that time I'd already been impeached. So in parliament, it's totally different. It's a different skill altogether. I always tell people, if you, for example, address 18,000 people in Marikana or in Moses Mabhida Stadium, they all belong to EFF or they all belong to MK party or any party. That's easy because you just have to toe the political line and everybody else would listen to you. But when you go to parliament, especially being the leader of the opposition and a party like MK, remember we broke the back of the ANC as the MK party. So there was a lot of resentment when we came there. We could sense that. And the ANC has been in government for 30 years. Most staff members in parliament, no doubt, are affiliated to the ANC. So it's kind of a hostile environment for us. And quite frankly, we don't trust anybody there except MK cadres.
Remember, in South Africa, we don't have a more experienced black law practitioner than John Hlophe. No, the number two does not even come close. From president, judge to politician is a story to be put in a book. He himself has written a few articles and books. You know, he's a person who's very well documented his journey into the law industry. But I'm saying we must celebrate this man. We as South Africans, this Dr. John Hlophe must be celebrated because his story, must be told in history. Now, imagine Dr. John Hlophe is saying, no, I wanted to retire after turning 65 because he has worked a lot. You know, all of those cases, all of those investigations, all of those those judgments and everything, it took a toll on the man. It beats you up. Court will beat you up, ladies and gentlemen. You change. You know, I have an aunt who's a magistrate. She said, yeah, I'll never go back to that. It's too stressful, too strenuous. It's doing it for 20 years, 15 years. It's going to take a piece of you away. And he wanted to retire once the day he hit 65, the following day he wanted to retire, you know. And unfortunately, and the EFF, not the EFF, the Democratic Alliance and the ANC impeached him. Yeah, we saw the EFF, the PAC, the ATM and other political parties trying to defend him, but they couldn't because of the ANC had the majority last year and they only needed that with the DA, and it was confirmed they could impeach anyone they wanted. Remember, they impeached Busisiwe Mkhwebane just a month, I think it was less than that, to her finishing her 7th year term. Yeah, I mean the 7th year as a public protector, just so that she must not get her benefits. The same thing they did to Busisiwe Mkhwebane, they did to Dr. John Hlophe. Now, imagine if Dr. John Hlophe took the route that Advocate Dalim Mpofu took. I mean, he was going to have so much impact, but everything happens for a reason and everything has got a season and time here underneath the sun. So I'm very happy for that. I mean, I remember when the EFF went to see him, sitting there, I think in one of his houses there in Gauteng. He was a broken man. He was a broken man. And I think the EFF missed an opportunity there to make an offer to him, But I think they thought, this old man, let's leave this old man to fight his cases and everything. But I think the EFF missed an opportunity, because he also says, I was tempted to join the EFF, but the EFF, I think, did not push hard enough. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with everything said and done with politics, what if the political party that you want to win does not win? What if the progressive parties don't get anywhere close to 50%? What if the DA and the ANC continue to rule? What if we don't get what we want as the voters? The thing that is very important is for us to sit and start organizations by ourselves. Paseta is one of those organizations. It's an organization where we are sitting down and say, guys, it is time that we do something and stop waiting for the politicians. The future of our children is also in our hands. We don't want to sit there and be asked, what did you do? What change did you impact the community? What organizations did you build? What impact did you have in your life for the next generation? And we answer, no, the ANC was corrupting it. Yeah, we hear the ANC was corrupt. What did you do? For me, I want to be able to look at the next generation and say, we built the Paseta for you guys. Paseta is the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. And we are saying we want to teach our children science, history, economics, technology and agriculture back into the school structure and Africanize it very well, so that our children can learn that as Africans, they are not number 3, number 4, but they are the best of the best. But the children need to attend a school that tells them that they are the best. So this boarding school is going to take your child and transform them in what we call at Paseta a super student, a child that understands how to make money online, cryptocurrency and all of those things, a child that understands which plants heal which type of sicknesses. If you've got kidney stones, what do you eat? Because the ground and the fruits and the food that grow from the ground heals almost every disease on the body. You just have to know what to mix and where to mix it. It's very important. And also, we're saying we want our land back. Can we really get our land back if we are not preparing the next future for agriculture? If we are not making agriculture fashionable? Can we get the land back if we don't teach our children technology? What type of technology would you need for agriculture 5 years from now, 10 years from now to make the job easier? That is very important. And those answers, those questions are going to be answered by the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. All we are saying is, Africans, can we have 10,000 Africans donate each 50 rand? I mean, it's the end of the month now. It is December. It's festive. But at Paseta, we're already planning for the launch of Paseta, the fundraising event that will be happening in April. We've got an excellent, beautiful venue for you guys to come here. The tickets are going to be around about 350, 400, maybe even 500 for VIP, for you guys to come and support us, sit with us and engage with us. And also we'll be having a brainstorming session where you guys can share some ideas of what you would like to see in the school. And also we'll be going to the site of the school so that you guys can see the building project that is already underway there. I'm so excited to see what 2025 is going to hold for Paseta, but it is impossible to do everything without your support. Your support makes everything possible. So please, Africans, go into your bank account, save Paseta as a beneficiary, and somewhere when you've got a extra 20 rand, extra 10 rand, extra 100 rand, for God's sake, if you've got an extra 100,000 rand, I would appreciate it if you send it to our bank account that is displayed on the screen right now. And I believe that you Africans can do that for me and for the team of Paseta and for the future generation that comes, so that we can look them in the eye and say, we build a world-class school for you guys. You guys have got no excuse to flop. like we did. You understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for everybody that is already donating to the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.